when I was in school, now, youthful exuberance. So I did Yahoo. I dabbled into Yahoo. We go Selena. We went to
You
Sele.
go sell. Okay.
Yeah, they will tell you to pray in one water, put Bible under one
Jesus Christ.
something, then you bath, then give you soap. Very effective.
And it worked.
Very effective. I'm not so I'm not here preaching anything or saying, but it was effective. And you seeing results like that, you just these people are strong. I know that. So I had this perception that select people are strong. Like when it comes to understanding how to pass windows, spiritual windows, to get some certain
Spiritual
results,
bypass.
they are there. Do you get? And at some point I now began to understand it's more like a collective, is a collective perspective, that's not the ideology of Sele itself. It's just wolves among the sheepfold.
Now, before meeting people like us and coming to the true knowledge of Christ, in hindsight, how did you look at that fold and maybe that shepherd or that church that you went to? What were the things that were going on in your mind?
Frankly speaking.
Yes, I want you to be very real. Very real.
So I thought you guys were just, you were very, very, I felt you guys were very spiritual and not worded.
If somebody asks you, tell me what you think about this church.
And you guys are not going to come for me. I'll be diplomatic.
So the reason is, it's important for us to have somebody like you here.
This is just a subjective perspective.
Okay.
I personally feel they are limited when it comes to insightful people. So people who are like intellectually sound. That's the best way I can put it. People who are intellectually sound, and I also see them as people who don't really understand how they represent their church. Like, your white garment is your white garment. There are some things you cannot do with your white garment because you are representing a fraction of people, a body.
The Celestial Perspective Podcast, bringing you a fresh perspective on the Celestial Church of Christ.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Celestial Perspective Podcast. And this particular episode is a very unique one. And as we journey into it, you see exactly why. Now, the topic we want to treat today is church marketing / demarketing. I know it sounds kind of weird, but that's why we are here. And our guest today is a content marketer and visual storyteller who helps brands grow through content that captures attention and builds trust. He specializes in social media strategy, digital marketing, and audience behavior, helping businesses understand how content influences culture, shapes decisions, and drives growth. Ladies and gentlemen, meet Solomon Oladapo.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Glad to be here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for the invite.
Yes, I forgot to introduce myself, but I know you know who I am. I'm Joseph Irile. And we'll just get right to it. So, my first question, sir.
Okay. Nice to meet you.
Yeah. So, what would be the signs of an organization, before we even talk about the church, what would be the signs of an organization that is self-sabotaging themselves? Or in the language of the theme that we're talking about, that is demarketing itself?
Okay. The sign of an organization that
is demarketing itself.
So that would be an organization that does not see reputation as priority.
That does not see
Reputation as
priority.
Okay. So there is like you're short circuiting yourself. You're not looking at it from is a myopic point of view when you see when you see your reputation as not like it's not a big deal. Yes. And that is because as human beings, everything we deal with interaction, we deal with communication. And at the end of the day, our brand is not who we say we are, it is who people say we are
What they
at the end of the
perceive us to be.
yes. So that is what our brand is. So we must always make sure that they must see us the way we want them to see ourselves too. So that's
So,
it.
so it means that we must be intentional about how we want people to perceive us.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's come to the church now. As a church, what are we marketing? What's our market? What will they sell? The reason why I want us to break this thing down is because I am also getting to understand, the topic itself. We need to break it down so that we know exactly what we're dealing with here. Because the church is an organization.
Yes, it is.
And then we have a mandate.
Yes.
So what exactly are we marketing? Are we marketing a person or are we marketing an institution? And if it is a person, is the person of Jesus? Or have we painted a facade that people now see that is not the real Jesus that the Bible is, teaching or preaching, but the one that we have manufactured and painted for people to see?
So I would say what we should at the core of what we should prioritize again is the gospel. The gospel in its essence. And why we have a lot of you must do this, you must do this, because people are not, how would I explain it? People are it is hard for people to pay attention. People are already used to frivolities. So we must, because of the love that we have for humanity, we must come down to their level to bring them up to that height. Like for example, you would see people doing, maybe in churches, it's not wrong. You see people doing like, okay, let's do this game, date, come with this. So just to make it exciting, even though
Make it to
what
appeal to a
so
certain generation or
exactly,
a
because
certain demographic.
exactly that is what would bring them at the end of the day. But at the core, it should be the gospel.
At the core.
At the core, it should be the gospel.
So where do we strike the balance between, or where do we catch ourselves in the act of compromising the message because of reach, because we want to reach, probably a demographic, or want to, reach Gen Z, and we know that there are certain things that tickle their fancy, for instance, or Gen Alpha, is it Gen Alpha that comes after Gen Z? So
Gen
where do
Alpha.
we strike the balance between, you know, trying to reach them and then dumbing down the message itself? How do we catch ourselves in the act of doing so?
So in marketing, there's something they call touch points. Touch points is just to emphasize this is why we are here. Oh. This is why we are here. Oh. So touch points, for example, you enter the church, then there's something fun happening. Then at some point, the touch point is okay. So now I want to tell you about this and this, or can we get your data for this? Because we want to reach out to you better. So that touch point is to the end that they also get the gospel. You are getting their email, so you are going to during the day to send them an email, maybe regarding Christ, stay strong in faith. That is a touch point, and that touch point is where you are also talking about the gospel again. So there's something also. There are some cues in marketing. So there's attention, there's trust, and there's now behavioral alteration. So attention is where we have this all these games. You have the attention,
Reeling them in.
the attention. Then the trust is now where we see you can have they call this thing. So it's like you need social proof, and that's where you have social proof. You are proving yourself with examples, and then that's when you now tell them the real thing that you need to tell them.
Now, you're speaking like a true, content marketer, a digital marketer, but somebody who is completely spiritual and does not want to, hear all these things that you're saying, they might have an issue. Now,
Okay.
this is where I'm going
Okay.
with this.
Get.
The past generation will say they came to Christ, because they saw the glory, they saw they saw they saw power, they saw God's might and God's ability to shift things. And that now we are presenting an altered or alternative Christianity to a new generation that doesn't look like what was presented to them, because they didn't need the lights or the stage or the sound to come to Christ. They were attracted by a raw power, raw move of the spirit. So why would you, in your own opinion, would we be presenting, the stage and lights and emails and text messages and persistent focus to a new generation when the older generation experienced something different?
So thank you for that. So I would start by saying like the previous generation, they practice something called inherited faith. And inherited faith is the faith that you is like acculturation, but without questions. They just, okay, they say you should not do it. Why did he say we should not do it? There was no answer to it. But
Okay.
in this generation,
So that's okay.
we are very curious. Why are we doing this thing that we are doing?
Okay.
So we have a standard of excellence. That is, they might not see it as that, but that is a standard of excellence. You must be able to take everybody along. It's not just about, we understand that okay, I'm not talking from a Gen Z. I'm not representing them. It's looking like I'm representing them, but I kind of understand where they are coming from.
Okay.
And driving my point, all of this, it is because of, you need to engage them wholly, like
Okay.
everything all together, and we have to come to that their level. At the end of the day, that this is the times that we are in. We have to come to their level, because so there was also this thing is also scriptural, because there was also a point where acculturation happened, and there was a point where Peter was praying, and God revealed something to him that somebody was coming, and he was like, no, why are you telling me to eat what is unclean?
Yes,
Do
okay.
you understand? So it took revelation, and it took an individual to change that perspective.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, things will always change like that. So that's what I'm just trying to explain.
Thank you. You're talking about that vision that Peter had. Even up to the end of that vision, the third time that God said, kill and eat, he didn't answer.
Yes, now it's hard. It's hard.
Okay. So, let me ask you a direct question. If an unbeliever spends 1 week on Christian social media, what picture of Jesus do you think they will get?
Like this,
Yes.
it's not filtered.
Not feel that.
That. So,
Like, if they really want to
Yeah.
know Jesus through Christian social media and they dedicate maybe 1 week, what picture of Jesus would they have?
so I would really advocate for Christian creators, and what I think they would be more prayerful, and they would be more opinionated too. And I'm saying that because the heart of man, I don't think we understand how fertile our heart is. Very, very fertile. And the littlest of things can just trigger it. It stays. It's like a seed. It just stays. And a compilation of all those information would, I believe that would make them more prayerful, because you just see random people staying at one place and they are praying, just put their camera and they are praying. Okay, prayer is good. Then you see somebody also trying to be deep and dissecting the word, dissecting. Like, okay.
Christian
I also
TikTok.
want to be deep in the word too.
Okay.
So they'll be more opinionated, and they want to pray too.
More opinionated. Now, how about the dissension that we have online, that is expressed online? Christian dissension that is expressed online. For instance, certain people believe in this doctrine and these people don't believe in that doctrine. Maybe, for instance, in recent times, the once saved, always saved brouhaha that's been online, why some people are advocating, why some people are completely resisting the school of thought that it is not wrong. One of the things that bother me in today's Christianity is how the whole world can see how ununited
We are.
or disunited that we are. So is that not a bother for you?
So I usually used to. It's even something I still ponder on a lot of times. Like, how can we really have this unity? Because everybody, we establish churches based on. We cannot. We establish churches based on personal doctrine too. Because at the end of the day, you cannot legislate a dichotomy between a man and his religion. A man is his religion, and if
The
you
man
are
is his set of beliefs.
his set of belief, okay, a set of belief, okay,
Yes.
I like that, a set of belief,
Yes.
and if there is at any point there's a personal dealing, it will turn to a doctrine at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So that is what we are seeing, subtle things that we are seeing. So that's why there's not just that unity. We know there's one God, we know there's Christ, but we just have different perspectives.
So don't you think that people find it more, more profitable, and they find it better for the advancement of their own kingdom to aggrandize or to put out there things that concern. For instance, I'll give you an example. During Easter, this just concluded Easter.
Okay.
There was a particular group of pastors, and a particular pastor amongst them suggested, look, we're coming together to let everybody know that this Easter is about Jesus. And we're going to do billboards. And the only thing that is going to be on those billboards and the whole campaign is the name, the 5-letter name, Jesus. And he said, everybody said, it was a good idea, it's a good idea. And then they began to slide into his DM and say, I hope I can add my church logo too. And he said, no, there's no church logo, there's no pastor's face. It's just Jesus. And everybody began to back out.
Wow.
One after the other.
Wow.
So, he voiced the concern to me.
Wow.
That I think it's getting obvious to him that it's not about the kingdom of the person of Jesus. It's about individual kingdoms and, how everybody is advancing their own their agenda.
It's not like for personal gain.
Do
now.
you think that you can hide this from a Gen Z that is very curious and very, very investigative, and they see these things online? Is it possible to hide this from them? Because whether we like it
So
or not, it's
how
a
did
rot
how did you hear about this?
from first hand from the person.
So they will not. I don't think there are a lot of information that people will not divulge like that now.
So whether they divulge it or not, it's a rot, and it's a mind state that we should not have as disseminators of the gospel, as people who are preaching Christ to a new generation. So do you think that the lack of this authenticity on our parts as Christians is what is making our permit me to use the word conversion rate very, very low? Do you think that this is our lack of authenticity is one of the reasons why we cannot win the heart of a new generation to Christ through his message?
So it's funny. It's also funny how we underestimate how discerning a normal human being is. For example, you see a probably a pastor in a beer parlor. He's a pastor, like a pastor. What thing they do for beer parlor? How do you know he's not supposed to drink? Do you get? How do you know this is not supposed to drink? You get? How do you know?
Okay.
So we are naturally discerning.
Okay.
And second off, I've lost my train of thought.
Yeah. So we were talking about if our lack of authenticity has led a particular generation away from the message.
Okay. Yeah.
Rather than bringing them.
Yeah. So authenticity on another hand, we have to come to a place where we are Christians from a character point of view and not at the good church, we are going to church and everything, because there's already there's a perception already, a social perception, an intentional social perception that has been created in churches and also pastors too. So we must go outside of all of that, and people must see the testimony in your heart and in your character as a person. That is how we can now be able to change. Okay, this person, this is a good man, not because of. That's why you see the woman who heard Jesus. She ran. She was like, I met somebody, I met it. But they came back, they're like, we saw
Now we
it.
believe not because of what you
Not
told
because
us.
of what, but we have seen it by ourselves. So we must come to that point where it is character based.
At any point in your journey as a Christian, have you attended, Celestial Church or White Garment Church?
So I have a funny experience. I have a very funny experience. So I kind of have a bias
Okay.
to sell it, and that's because, well, it's kind of changing now.
Okay. Why is it changing?
So I would explain. So
right.
when I was in school, now, youthful exuberance. So I did Yahoo. I dabbled into Yahoo,
We
and
will always blame it for exuberance.
I dabbled.
All right.
I dabbled into
I'm
Yahoo.
not judging you.
No. It's
We
fine.
listen, we don't judge.
It's fine now.
Okay.
So I dabbled into Yahoo. Then at some
Okay.
point, man was greedy now. So we go Sele now. We went to
You
Sele.
go sell. Okay.
Yeah, they will tell you to pray in one water, put Bible under
Jesus
one
Christ.
something, then you bath, then give you soap. Very effective.
And it worked.
Very effective. I'm not here preaching anything of saying, but it was effective. And you seeing results like that, you just these people are strong. I know that. So I had this perception that select people are strong. Like when it comes to understanding how to pass windows, spiritual windows, to get some certain
Spiritual
results.
bypass.
They are there. Do you get? And at some point, after understanding, communicating with some certain celeb people, like Black, for example, I now began to understand it's more like a collective. It's a collective perspective, that's not the ideology of Sele itself. It's just wolves among the sheepfold. So yeah.
So now, after that happened, because I've also heard, I don't want to call them testimonies because they are sad tales. There's a particular Egbon of mine who says when he was in the university, he was in the court, and that he and his fellow court members, there was a particular shepherd who used to do spiritual works for their protection and all that. And the end tale of that story, or stories like that, is usually very similar. People like that come to the full knowledge of Christ, to the true, let me not say full, because we're all growing to the full knowledge, to the true knowledge of Christ. And then they look back and they're sad about their encounter with, the church. And many times it's first hand. They won't tell you somebody told them. They tell you, I experienced it. So for you, before meeting somebody like Blackmore, before meeting somebody like me, because we once had this conversation, and you told me how surprised you were that you didn't think that this was what it was. Now, before meeting people like us and coming to the true knowledge of Christ, in hindsight, how did you look at that fold and maybe that shepherd or that church that you went to? What were the things that were going on in your mind?
Frankly speaking.
Yes, I want you to be very real. Very real.
So I thought you guys were just, you were very, very, I felt you guys were very spiritual and not worded. So there's a very thin line between, because people are just, they are moving based on the move of the spirit and not grounded in.
So that's spiritism.
Yes,
Because spirituality devoid of the word is spiritism.
yes. So it was just a religion in its own ecosystem. It was just there.
So when people see when people look at this church, this is a very real conversation. I didn't even know that we're going to go this path, and it's important for us to be very true because we're not deceiving ourselves. And like they say, stereotypes don't create themselves. Stereotypes are stereotypes for a reason. Um, when people see these things and these vices, uh, it's very easy for them to generalize and say this is how the whole system is. They don't understand that it is a certain aspect of the system that has suffered rot. Now, for a young person coming up, would you say that this is exclusive to the white garment fold, or is something that cuts across, like these vices where certain people lead young men and young women astray, telling them that there is an alternative to what they know about God, or preaching to them or showing them a false Jesus? Is it a denominational thing, or is it something that cuts across?
So this is a general thing. It's general because at the end of the day, would always have wolves amongst us. Would always have wolves amongst us, and it is also scriptural that everybody needs to have that their voice out. So if we look at Apollos, Apollos was fervent in spirit. Apollos
Was
was
outspoken.
outspoken, but he was limited in knowledge. But he had to speak. If he did not speak, then Aquilos, they would not propound the word. They would not explain the word to him more.
Yes,
So it
yes.
is what we are saying now. People would always want to come out and speak, but now what we need to have is humble counselors, because these people now, like, if you read it, the Apollos and Aquilas and Priscilla,
Priscilla.
they said they set him aside
Yes.
to teach him. So
Yes.
they must be humble on
Yes.
their own to receive the word.
Yes.
And the people who are also teaching them, they must also be humble, not to castigate them, call them out. That why are you doing this? You also talk to them privately. Okay, this is how you should do. This is how, and person learns, and we grow like that from there. Because at the end of the day, it is um community. Okay, I'll just put it paraphrase. The community of counselors gives us safety, and our purpose is established like that. It's in Proverbs. So yes, so I think that's my own.
Let's go on a break. We'll be back.
The Celestial Perspective Podcast, bringing you a fresh perspective on the Celestial Church of Christ.
All right, welcome back, everybody. So we want to talk about how important perception is, because no matter how much you have something very valuable, it's important for people to perceive that it is valuable, in order to come to the value that you have to offer. So, from I don't, we're all one in the body of Christ, but you are not a member of this denomination, Celestial Church. As an outsider looking in now, even with your encounter with, some Celestians that you believe that are, upstanding Christians, can you summarize what you think about this church? Like, if somebody asks you, tell me what you think about this church.
And you guys are not going to come for me. I'll
No,
I'll
no,
be
no.
diplomatic.
So no. So the reason is, it's important for us to have somebody like you here. Like I said, this is a very honest platform, and it's a platform where we need to tell ourselves the truth. Because we cannot even prefer solutions if we don't know, if we're not truthful with what the problems are. So shoot, don't worry.
This is just a subjective perspective.
Okay.
I personally feel they are limited when it comes to insightful people. So people who are like intellectually sound. That's the best way I can put it. People who are intellectually sound, and um, I also I also see them as people who don't really understand how they represent their church. Like, your white garments is your white garment. You cannot. There are some things you cannot do with your white garment because you are representing a fraction of people,
A body.
a body. So I just see them as people who are not really aware of a lot of things, and they are not intellectually there yet.
So in you know, to create a balance, let me just be in the defense. You, now offense you did. Now me be cucurella, right? Now Messi you be. So the thing is, now there is, and it is not that there is a dearth, dearth, or scarcity of intellectuals in this church. It's the fact that the pseudo intellectuals, the non intellectuals, and the Olodu uprisings are louder. They are louder. And people that actually have something to offer are in their cocoon, they're in their shell. They don't want to be exposed. They just want to do things, the orthodox way, the normal way. I don't want to be seen. And, what they say about negative narratives, they travel
Very
way far.
Very
So,
fast.
as we're talking about the problems, we should also talk about the solutions. What do you think people who really have substance in this church can do in order to begin to reshape the narrative, especially if we're trying to reach a new generation?
So I think Mr. Joseph is doing a good work. You're doing a good work doing that already.
Thank you very
And
much.
if we have more voices and more people who can back your own voice up, social proof, that's where your trust comes for you. And I also believe that there needs to be policies for your church. There has to be policies that in so just to digress a bit, in the US, you would never see a dead body on the news. You would never see it. You will never see some certain things. They have areas in the US that is rugged, is trenches. You will never see it online. And that is intentional. China, for China, they are so concerned about their country that every product has to have a form of national transformation. It must benefit the country first before it benefits anybody, because they are representing that country. So you in select you they should have certain policies that you cannot do this. If you are wearing white garments, if you are trying to represent us, you are not allowed to do this. And there should be enforcement towards that. I just believe that is how we can, or you can, how you can curb all these things. I just personally believe that.
So,
And
talking about enforcement, I don't know how that can work, because truth of the matter is people are their own bosses and their own lords at the end of the day, and I don't know, are there measures that can be put in place that can actually guardrail bloggers, and put a control on the things that they can post and the things that they can't post?
you sue them. You sue them. Like people sued. There's a certain influencer that came out that you cannot. So there was this another blogger that came out that was posting. I was like, I will sue you if you post me. You sue them. Like, let it be written. Let them. They should. The legal side of the church should be able to be the public relations officer and be very, very have standards that you can. We'll sue you. We know this person messed up in this, but you are not posting it. We'll sue you. You are demarketing your brand. You are demarketing Sele. That's what is happening.
By the way, the name of the church is Celestial Church.
Sorry. I was saying,
So one of the major issues that we have.
it's funny.
That's a
CCC. I will just say CCC.
Yeah, that's
Sorry.
also
Sorry. See what I'm saying.
There's really nothing to apologize for. Now, one of the problems that we have in this generation, and there are a lot of pushbacks, is, like you mentioned earlier, is there are a lot of questions. People ask questions. Now, this is talking about Christianity as a fold, as one body, and you know, part of the problems that are leading to the pushbacks is because we punished questions. When people asked questions, we made them feel like infidels or apostates. How can you be asking? We don't hear, you don't ask,
Just be
you just
compliant.
be compliant. It's all about faith. Believe in it. If you don't believe, you can walk away. Are there questions that are unanswered? Do we have any justification to ask people not to ask certain, to tell people or to command people not to ask certain questions?
No, they have the right to ask every question, and you who has been become blameless or in the process of becoming blameless, you should be able to answer those questions, because at the end of the day it will still be unresolved in their head.
Because, for instance, one of the questions that people ask is, why does a good God allow suffering?
It's a long tail. It's always, they would always ask that question. It's
Yes,
always
and I don't think it's a question whose answer can be exhausted. Is inexhaustible, because there would always be a follow-up question to whatever answer that you
yeah.
give. Why,
People
if God is all powerful and all good, why does he allow suffering?
so
Because
people who ask those questions are usually, they are mostly broken-hearted. Broken-hearted not in the sense of relationship, but there's something, it's coming
yes,
from
and
somewhere.
many times it's a honest struggle.
Mm-hmm.
They are struggling with certain things that they just can't wrap their minds around. That, look, if there is a good God, why? Okay, for instance, why does he allow children to suffer? There are suffering children. There are children who, for instance, in Gaza, who have not eaten for days, who die on a daily. As we speak, there are children who are suffering from debilitating illnesses and they will never get better. So, there are parts of this world where water is luxury, food is luxury. So people will keep asking questions like that. If God is all powerful, it means that he can't do something about it. And if he's all good, then it means that he would not want to watch people suffer. So it's either God is all powerful, but he's not all good, which means he can do something about it, but he won't because
He
he
can.
doesn't care. Or he's all good, which means he wants everything to change, but he's not all powerful because he doesn't have the power to change all things. So these questions they are very daunting questions. They are difficult questions. And there are people who will say, I have the perfect answer. But when they give the answer to that question, there is still
It's
another question that
contradictory.
ensues from that. So it's really endless. And because we know that our answer, which may be true, might not be satisfactory to a generation that we're trying to reach, we tell people, don't ask questions. Is that the solution?
Asking questions is it reveals that you genuinely want the answer for this.
Yes.
But on the other hand, faith in itself is not denial of fact, but it is allegiance to the truth. And if at the end of the day you are faced with, okay, this is the truth in the scripture, and you're still saying no, 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 this is the fact, then it's a faith problem at the end of the day. So that's what I just think.
Now, do you believe that one of the problems that we have is we have painted a false Christianity to people? Like, we have told them many times that once you come to God, don't worry, all your problems are gonna go away. They came, and it was not the case. In fact, there are people who say when they came to Christ was when all their problems, doubled or tripled. So, do you think that we have sold the wrong Christianity to people who eventually come and find that what we have sold to them is not exactly what upholds?
That's a dicey question, because even when the goal is now what we're looking at, is the goal to save souls,
Yes.
or the goal to really for mental and character transformation. That is what now we are now looking at, because it is now looking like, okay, what is your motive behind this person, this soul you want to save? What is your motive behind it? So I that question is kind of dicey for me.
So, I personally think that from the get-go, we should let people realize that Christianity is not a one pill solve all issues kind of solution. Or we should let people also realize that Christ Himself said, "In this life,
You face tribulations.
you will face many tribulations." Now, does this mean that God doesn't heal when you come to Him? Of course, He does. Does it mean that God doesn't deliver? Of course, He does. These are the things that we know about God. But we should also let people understand that Christianity does not completely, it doesn't automatically, that's the word, um, exhume you from the pains of this world or take you out of the challenges of this world. Like we said earlier, that Christ said that in this life you will face many challenges,
Many
diversity,
challenges.
but be of good cheer, which means the outcome
It's good.
is that be of good cheer because I have overcome the world and you would also overcome the world. Now, coming back to church demarketing, let me ask you, what is the place of the aesthetics, the lights, the stage, the sound, the order, the structure,
The other.
and everything that can attract the natural mind, to us even before they are properly discipled?
At the core, I don't want to go deep into the core, but at the core, I think we have lost our sense of worship. Our sense of worship is I must feel good. It's not about God feeling. It's we are worshiping. We want to feel good while worshiping God, but it's not always like that.
So usually it's not even about God anymore, but it's
It's
how
not
we
like how
feel.
we feel. Like I must feel good. That's why even myself sometimes when I pray, I need to have an instrumental going on to
Ginger.
ginger. So is already in that phase. Do you get?
So do you have a problem with the stage and the sound and the lights? For instance, you go to, maybe, I don't want to mention names, but you go to a Hillsong concert, and the whole setting is exactly like if you would have
Sweet.
John Bellion or Michael Jackson, or perform. There's a stage in the middle with smokes and sounds and light and everything is good, and there's somebody standing on stage, with his guitar and singing, and everybody is raising hands. Do you have a problem with that?
No, I don't have any problem with it. I don't have any problem with it. Who owns that? Are they the owner?
Or you don't have a problem with it, our churches looking like concert grounds?
Is I personally don't have a problem with it.
Okay.
I don't at all have a problem with it. But
Okay.
if at the end of the day the message is still Christ,
Jesus.
then we're fine. If the message is still Christ,
What
we're
you said
fine.
about feeling good and feeling, it's more about our feelings now. You notice that a lot of the worship songs that we also sing now are always about who we are, what we are, rather than worship. Because if we look at what worship actually
Give me
really
an
means,
example of that.
I don't want to mention any song. I know what that does.
Okay,
Immediately
okay,
sparks something,
okay.
But you know what I'm saying? Like a song is saying, I am this, I am, I am this, I am that, I am loved, I am light, I am Shekinah, I am glory, I'm the Father's Son. All these things are good and they remind us of who we are in God. But when we call that worship, don't you think that there is a discrepancy? I'm just playing the devil's advocate here. I'm not whatever I'm saying here is not
They are different.
doesn't necessarily represent what I feel.
They are, in my own opinion, there are different types of like songs. So maybe we can call that a declaration.
So should that be a worship song? Like we're coming to church raising hands to God and saying, I am loved, I am blessed,
By you, if
I
it's
am
by
taking the
you,
kingdoms,
if it's by you, if
men
the
are coming to my rising.
if it addresses Christ back, then it's valid. That's the core message. If
So
it
the
is to
message.
worship to God, not to like from you to
So
God.
I think we are gradually losing the aspect of worship that is core adoration. That is just talking about the might and the
You
glory
just
and the power, and we just reveling in the
in the
presence of
presence
an
of God.
awesome almighty, omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent God. Don't you think so?
So what you're saying is that we are not singing songs from revelation, from
No,
the
that's not
presence
even.
of God. That's what it means now.
So that's not what I'm saying. So the songs of
I want to ask
our
you.
the
I want to
Christ.
ask you a
So
question.
okay,
Are you a fan of spontaneous worship?
of course. Now I'm a musician and I love worship music. So
So
I love spontaneity
would
in worship
you
too.
would you choose spontaneous worship over like worded lyrics, maybe other songs?
So I believe that every song has its place.
Okay.
And it's the usage that is very important. So whether a song is 3 verses, is poetic, is long, it has its place. Whether a song is just 4 words or 4 lines, repetitive, like what we have in the worship sphere now, prevalently, it also has its place. In the Bible, we have the book of Psalms that records very lengthy songs that exercise a lot of poetic devices. They have their place. And usually songs like that are those affirmative songs that talk about who we are in God, you know, songs that talk about the things that God has done, songs that talk about, daily Christian living. But if you look at the scriptures too, where it talks about songs that are actually used in the worship of Yahweh, like in Chronicles, it was a very short song, a maybe 2 line song, and they sang it repetitively for his good and his mercies endureth forever. And the beautiful thing is, it says that as they rendered that song, very short song, but repetitively, it says the glory of God, the glory cloud was so powerful that even the priests could not carry out their duties as a result of the glory of God that came down. So I believe that every kind of song has its own usage. Our problem is we take the usage of one and we fix it into the other, and then we mix everything up, and then we also mix nomenclature up. You understand what I'm trying to say? So I think that's where the confusion comes from.
So I
So I'm a fan of everything, both the spontaneous worship, both the premeditated worship, and all that. I'm a fan of everything.
so how can hope you don't mind me asking, how can a Christian now discern the right song? Or does it have to do with seasons in their life?
Okay, a right song is a song that is in tandem with scripture, that bows to biblical scrutiny. One. Two, depending on the seasons of our lives, there are songs that appeal to us more than others. So that one is sure. There are songs that you will listen to right now that you'll be like, man, I can relate. In 2 years' time,
It's another
it's
it's another
another set
season.
of songs. So even as we are speaking about music, how what's the power of music in selling Christianity? Because whether we like it or not, Christ is. I know people won't like to hear this, but Christ is a product, and we are selling him. We are his representatives, and like I always say, that he is the most viable candidate. If Jesus were a politician, he'll be the easiest politician to sell to people. So we have a very viable product, but how we present him is what the problem is. Now, in the place of music, for instance, how do you think that we can fashion our Christian music more to appeal
Appeal, yeah.
to a certain demographic or a generation that is used to a certain culture?
There are already musics already for that generation. We are beats people. There's music already for them, and people are emerging. Good rappers are emerging with these ones are
Christian rappers.
sound. Every lyrics.
What do you think about gospel Afrobeat
I'm
or
indifferent.
Afro gospel?
I like worship so much,
Okay.
but I like the words. I like the words from those Afro beats. Even though the Jim, when I'm worshiping, I personally, when I'm worshiping, I'm very emotional. Not emotional. I want it to be a certain way. But the Jim, I'm not the Jim person. If people probably have gone to concerts,
But are you one to impose your preferences? on others.
No. No. You should not. You should not.
So if you enter a church, let's say tomorrow that is Sunday now, you enter a church and they are jamming better and piano, but the message is Christ. And you did the beat, everybody just the vibe for the church. Do you want to tell me that you will not feel a certain type of way? I want you to be honest with me.
The thing about this thing is there has to be a balance. There has to be a balance. There has to be a strong balance, because if we're doing all of these things for where so this thing comes from the intention and motive behind it. Okay, why are we doing some piano? If your intention is not people are doing it, that's why I want to do it. And then there's something, and we can tell that you just want vibe. We just want vibe. We will know that you just want vibe. But if we're doing it, like, okay, are people idea around? Is this an opportunity for us to spread the word more? Then okay, that's okay.
What do you think about taking out the worldly lyrics and replacing them with?
That's just outrightly wrong. Now it's just wrong.
Yeah.
So there's something there's a book called The Rise and Triumph of Self.
The Rise and Triumph of Self.
And there's something called social imaginary. And social imaginary is the collection of assumptions that the society adopts over time. So when we see who you be, who goes, where is that coming from?
What's the spirit behind it?
What's that? So if we do not
who goes?
Like all those things, you need to suspect it, investigate it. You need to investigate it before it just comes to the church. You are saying it on you are singing it on.
Investigate the spirit behind
all those things that we just hear. And it's funny how those things they just become norm. It just becomes part of culture. That's not going anywhere anytime soon. It's not going anywhere anytime soon.
The Celestial Perspective Podcast, bringing you a fresh perspective on the Celestial Church of Christ.
I'm going to tell you a question that an average person will ask. It could be out of pain, it could be out of confusion. And I'm going to give the Christianese answer. The answer that a regular Christian will give or a pastor will give. And I want you to tell me how you feel about the answer.
Okay.
Somebody says, I am depressed. And the Christianese answer is, pray more.
So, So depression is a community issue. So I feel if I want to explain, depression is a form of darkness. I see it like a form of darkness, and to counter that, I would say community instead of I'll just say, okay, join a community.
So you know what? To just keep it very brief. Just tell me sharp or pass.
Okay.
Sharp or pass.
Okay, yeah.
When you say sharp, this is it. When you say pass, do your hand like this.
Yeah.
I'm depressed, and the answer they give is pray more. Sharp or pass.
Sharp.
Okay.
Sharp. Pray now.
Somebody loses a child, and the Christianist answer, God knows best.
Pass. That's pass.
Somebody loses a job, and the Christianist answer is, just have faith.
Sharp now.
Just have faith.
Yes, now.
Okay.
Sharp now. What do you like? Don't be dismayed. Like, this is not the end now.
Yes.
That's why all these things need concise explanations, but yeah, okay, let's just continue.
Somebody loses a child, and the Christian's answer is, he's now with the Lord.
That's wicked. that's wickedness. You should not. I'll pass on that. That's just straight up
Somebody
wicked.
says, I stopped going to church because of church hurt. And you say, it means you never loved the Lord in the first place.
Pass. No.
What do you think about church hurt?
So church hurt is deep. It's very, very deep, and it alters. Once something alters trust, is deep. It's very, very deep. It takes like the mercy of God and one person who is true, and God uses that person as an instrument. That no, this person, I want you to reach out to this sheep and get this sheep for me. So
we've done Christianese answers. Now let's talk about people from outside, the things that they say. Now church people was pass.
Now then was pass. And truly, no.
Sharp
No.
pass. Now church people was pass.
Unfortunately.
Why you answer that question? Now church people was pass.
Unfortunately.
But do you think that church people are worse than people outside? People are people.
No. Christians, there's a standard.
I know. I'm aware.
Because there's a standard, anything below that standard is worse for people. Because you be Christian, if they know that you're a Christian, just know you have to live up to that standard. That is it now. It's not the normal things that people would do normally. Guy, but you be Christian. Are you not doing what I'm doing? Why are you saying I'm a Christian? So that's just it.
Okay, another one. I'm a Christian, but I don't go to church.
Parcel. Community is very important. Very important too.
I'm a Christian, but I'm not religious. I'm spiritual.
Oshie. Pass.
But are we supposed to be religious?
Pass. So, that's another long conversation, because
Is Christianity a religion?
so religion at its core is the adherence to a set of beliefs,
Yes.
and those beliefs are what regulate our social, moral, and ritualistic behaviors.
Yes.
So religion in itself is like a compendium of culture and what we have believed over time. So it's kind of interwoven.
So I think it's the evolution of religion that people have a problem with, not really the word itself. Is
Just explain briefly.
what I mean is,
Evolution of religion.
yes, what people have over the years made religion out to be is what people hate. It's not the word itself. So that's why people say today that Christianity is not a religion. That it's the knowledge of a person, and that person is Christ.
So it's the concept that people have that's evolved.
Concept,
The
exactly.
concept. Okay.
Because the truth, we're talking about church demarketing and church marketing. Part of the problems that the church has today is
concept
its history. Because let's not lie, the church has a very dark history. You know, the history of the Catholic Church, and when the church and the state merged, and a lot of atrocities. That's why a lot of scientific minds don't believe that anything good can come out of Christianity, because in the formative years of science, you know, there was a time when the state, science, and church were partners. At some time, they completely removed science from the church and let religion stand on its own. That's when religion became religion that everybody hates today. So
Pan-African people who are Pan-Africanists today, they also have that point of view that it's just a way colonization. That was the pathway into colonization.
So another question from the outside looking in is, may I be Christian, but I still follow the ways of my ancestors?
You say ancestors.
I mean, I'm a Christian, but now I know me say, are the
normal.
What do you think about
That'll
that?
pass. That'll pass.
Hard pass, Abby.
Very hard pass. Very hard pass.
Okay.
They are double-minded.
Another one is now Igbo carry Christianity can give you now.
So that is debatable. It's very debatable, but at the end of the day, it's not true.
It is. It's not. It's really not. It's not. It's not. Anyways, it's been a very, very wonderful conversation with you.
Yeah, likewise.
A very intellectual one. It's not easy to meet up with brilliant minds like you.
Like you,
But
too,
we
man.
survived.
Like you too, man.
Thank you so much.
No problem, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
to our viewers. Thank you to our sponsors. I think we should mention some of our sponsors in this particular episode. Yes. Here we have DBV Victors for all your natural drinks, from tiger nuts to all sorts of fruit drinks. Amazing stuff. All natural, no
very
additives, no sugar, nothing. We also have diet confectionaries, diet bakes, amazing people who are supporting us amazingly. So thank you, everybody. I'll see you on the next episode.